cannot decide what is wrong with this painting. I keep looking at it and just something is off and I don't know what. How did I get here? How did this all happen? Well, in order to do that, I have to go back a little ways. So I was sitting watching Netflix when all of a sudden I got a notification of an email. So I ignored it, but then I started thinking I should probably look at it. It might be important. So I did. And I saw that it was a pet commission of a cat. Unfortunately, the picture of the cat was no good. I mean, look at it. Far away, kind of blurry, no real defined light source, little detail. Had to email them back and say, it's not gonna work. But then, before I could do that, they sent me another picture of the cat. And my jaw dropped. I mean, look at it. Distinct light source, nice bright green eyes, detail. I looked over at Kinsey and thought, change of plans, we're painting today. So I printed out my picture, got my linen panel, carbon paper, pencil, and tape. Now some people look down on tracing, but I have a limited time here and this is a commission and I want to make sure I really get it right. So I taped down my picture, put down my carbon paper, and trace over it with a pencil. Next, I gotta set up my palette. I put titanium white, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium red, crimson, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, and burnt umber. Next, I put out my paint thinner, my linseed oil, get my brushes together, and it's time to paint. At least that's what I think when all of a sudden I hear a bark. I look back and I see Kinsey wants to go out. I tell her, nope, we've hit the point of no return. It's time to paint. Before that, I want to pre-mix some colors. Now, I don't normally pre-mix colors, but thought I'd do something different today. So I start with my darks and work to my lights. Now I realized that even though I pre-mixed these colors, I found that it really just doesn't work for me. I kept the pre-mixed colors, but I felt like I just kept remixing them and branching off of them and making new ones, which you're supposed to do with pre-mixing colors, but it was about 30 minutes in and none of these colors were really left, and I just mixed all new colors. So I'm going to start with the eyes, these nice bright green eyes. This is always great for a pet portrait, that the eyes are well lit, have a good reflection and good color. It just really holds the rest of all this fur and fluff together. Now it's time to paint in the fur. And I'm not thinking about painting fur. I'm not thinking about painting individual hairs. I'm just thinking color and value right now. I want to just lay down some color, look at it, compare it to the others, and just kind of continually bounce around from section to section, making sure everything is in the right value and color. I put in a background because I like to see how my subject is looking with a background. And these beginning stages is a lot of testing out color and value, putting it down, seeing how it looks, a lot of adjusting along the way. Especially with fur, a lot of it is value to get the distinction in it. I am thinking in the direction of the fur in terms of my brush strokes. I'm kind of letting the direction of my brush strokes read as clumps of fur, not worrying about individual hairs, but kind of just big chunks of fur. I'm also paying attention to the colors, and you can see that I'm putting in a good amount of purples and yellows, which are complementary colors, are going to look good next to each other. And it's very important to really look at your reference photo and identify all the different colors and try and push it as much as you can. A lot of people wouldn't think that you'd be using purple in painting a cat, but if you look, it's there. It's a desaturated purple, but it is there. And seeing as there's a lot of yellows, kind of oranges to the cat, you're gonna see a little bit of blues and purples, seeing as it's the complementary colors. It's just gonna make it really pop and stand out with the contrast between those two. And this cat was a great exercise because the cat is multicolored. There's a lot of, spots and patterns throughout the fur and the coat of the cat. And so I had to constantly changing the color, because if I was working on a little patch that was, dark hair opposed to a patch that was light hair or red hair or yellow, but I still had to keep in mind my values. So even though I switched over, colors, say from an orange fur section of the cat to like a darker brownish bluish section, like right underneath that eye there, not only do I have to change colors, I have to keep in mind the value and making sure the value is still correct. That's a big, that can be a very big hole people fall into, a trap, is changing the color and then changing the value too much when you change the color. You really have to understand your value and make sure your values stay correct. I'm also thinking about the structure of the cat face and kind of pushing the shadows and the highlights where I need it to be. Sometimes it can be hard to see this in a photograph, but understanding that the face is a three-dimensional object and there's certain sections that are curved and it goes back, and there's a distinct light source, and one side's going to be lighter, certain side's going to be darker. It's going to be darker underneath the cheek of the cat where not as much light is getting to, and if I have to enhance that a little bit in my painting to get that across, I'm going to do it. Same with the light areas. If I feel like I need to push the highlights a little more to indicate a certain texture or a certain surface area or structure, I'm going to do that. Don't be afraid to change the photograph to what you need. So now we're back where we started. This is how I got here. What is missing? I do not know what is missing. I've been staring at it, and it's just not working. I don't know what to do. So frustrating. I just want to finish this. I just want to put the final touches on it, but I don't know what it's missing. I keep staring at it. I just don't know. So I give up and I say, Kinsey, let's go outside. You've been waiting long enough. So I come back in, still feeling down. I look at my painting and it hits me. I know what's missing. The whiskers. I'm missing the whiskers. I forgot to put in the whiskers. Of course. Why did I cannot believe I forgot to put in the whiskers. This is it. This is the final touch that I need to do. But I must be very, very careful. I finish them up. Yes, I like that. I think it's done. It's amazing what a fresh perspective can do.